Look at the back of your stove hood, not the outside, the underside. Run your finger along the edge where the metal folds over. That film on your finger right now, yellowish, a little tacky, with a smell like something burnt a long time ago and never fully left. That is not dirt. That is not grease the way fresh oil is grease. That is a compound that formed in your kitchen over months or years of heat. And it is bonded to that metal surface the same way lacquer bonds to wood. And every week you spray something at it from a can. And every week it comes back. And you have started to believe that is just how kitchens are. It is not how kitchens are. It is how kitchens become when you use the wrong material on the wrong problem and never get told why. $2 of something already in your house dissolves that bond completely. I want to show you exactly how. My name is Takeshi Mori. I learned to clean a kitchen from my grandmother in her farmhouse in the hills above Nagano, where the winters were long and the cooking never stopped, and the walls above the stove turned dark every autumn from the smoke and the oil of a wood-fire kitchen running all day. She kept those walls clean. I mean genuinely clean. Not managed, not maintained at a steady level of acceptable grime. Clean. The way a tool is clean when someone who understands it has cared for it properly. I have not bought a commercial degreaser in 11 years. The tiles behind my stove show no yellowing, no buildup, no residue from the cooking of 1,000 meals. That should tell you something. What it should tell you is that someone has known about this for a very long time and chose to sell you the alternative instead. By the end of this, you will understand why the spray foam fails at the chemical level, what actually dissolves old kitchen grease, and how to do it for the price of 2 ingredients you almost certainly already own. Let me start with what the modern world gets wrong about grease itself. Because if you do not understand this first, none of the rest will make sense. The spray can has convinced you that grease is a surface problem, something sitting on top of your tile or your metal, waiting to be lifted off by something strong enough. That is the picture the label sells. Spray it on, wait 30 seconds, wipe it away. And it is true for fresh oil. Oil that landed on the surface in the last hour or two. A surfactant, which is all that blue or orange foam is, a soap engineered to grab oil molecules and pull them into water, can handle fresh oil without any trouble. The problem is that fresh oil is not what is ruining your kitchen. When cooking oil heats past a certain threshold, which on a working stove happens routinely, the oil undergoes a chemical transformation called polymerization. The individual oil molecules, under heat and oxygen, begin linking to each other and to the surface below them, forming a new compound that is structurally closer to a hard resin than to liquid oil. It is the same process that gives a well-seasoned cast iron pan its black surface. In a pan you want that layer. On your tiles and your hood, you do not. But the chemistry is identical. The oil has cross-linked. It has become a polymer. And a polymer is not sitting on the surface. It is bonded to it, the way paint bonds to wood grain. The spray foam touches the top of that polymer and cleans what has not yet hardened. Fresh oil from last Tuesday's dinner. The light residue on the surface of the old layer. So the tile looks cleaner for a few days, but the polymer layer underneath is untouched because surfactants cannot break cross-linked molecular bonds. They are not designed to. Every new round of cooking deposits fresh oil on top of the old layer, some of which polymerizes in turn, and the layer grows. Year by year, the hood gets heavier, the grout gets darker, and you scrub harder for diminishing return. That is not a cleaning failure. That is a chemistry mismatch sold to you as a cleaning solution. Here's the thing I want you to hold in your mind before I show you the method. Hot water makes this worse before it makes it better. I will explain exactly why in a moment. Keep it there. My grandmother never used hot water on a greasy surface. until after she had treated it. I thought as a boy that she was particular in the way old people sometimes are about small things, attached to a habit with no real reason behind it. She was not being particular. She was describing a mechanism she understood completely, even if she described it in plain household language rather than the language of chemistry. What she said was, hot water on old grease is like pouring rain on a sealed roof. It runs off and takes the dirt with it only from the top. Here is the literal translation of that rule. Polymerized grease is hydrophobic, meaning it actively repels water. When you apply hot water to an old grease layer, the heat causes the polymer to expand slightly. This can loosen fresh oil that has accumulated on the surface of the polymer. But the polymer itself, the bonded underlayer, becomes no weaker in the presence of water, hot or otherwise. Worse, hot water opens the microscopic pores of grout and the surface texture of tile and metal. If you scrub with hot water before breaking the polymer bond, you drive the loosened surface oil into those pores. You are not cleaning deeper. You are sealing the problem deeper into the material. What does break a polymerized grease bond is alkalinity. A solution with a sufficiently high pH attacks the ester linkages that hold the cross-linked polymer together and converts them. This process is called saponification. It is the same chemical reaction used to make soap from animal fat. You are not lifting the grease off the surface. You are chemically converting it back into a water-soluble compound. Once converted, it wipes away without scrubbing. Not reduced, not loosened, gone. Now you understand why hot water comes last. You break the bond first with the alkaline treatment, applied cold. So you are not driving anything deeper while the chemistry works. Then you rinse with warm water to carry away what the saponification has released. My grandmother knew the order. She did not know the word saponification. She did not need it. The order was the knowledge. The two ingredients are baking soda and white vinegar. You combine 2 parts baking soda with 1 part white vinegar in a small bowl. It will foam for about 30 seconds. Let it. When the foam settles, you have a soft paste. That paste is what you want. The foam is not the active agent. The paste that remains after the reaction is what carries the alkalinity into the polymer layer. Before you apply anything, take a flat edge, the back of a wooden spatula, a plastic scraper, the blunt spine of an old kitchen knife, and scrape the heaviest deposits away dry. No water yet. You are reducing the mass the chemistry has to work through. This step takes 2 minutes and halves your treatment time. Most people skip it because they reach for the spray before thinking. Do not reach for anything yet. Scrape first. Apply the paste cold. Press it into the surface with a cloth or your fingers. Work it into corners, grout lines, the folded edges of the hood. Then stop. Leave it for 8 minutes at minimum, 15 if the buildup is old and dark. Set a timer. Do not scrub during this period. Scrubbing moves the paste before it has finished the conversion. The chemistry needs contact time, the same way a dye needs to sit before it takes. Patience is not optional. Patience is part of the mechanism. After the contact time, wipe with a damp cloth, warm water, not hot. The cloth will come away brown. Rinse it and go again. The grease does not smear. It lifts, because it is no longer a polymer in the structural sense. For the hood grate, remove it. Place it in a basin of warm water with 3 tablespoons of baking soda dissolved in it, and leave it for 20 minutes. No scrubbing. Lift it out and rinse it under the tap. A 2017 study published in the journal Tenside Surfactants Detergents measured the performance of alkaline saponification agents against commercial surfactant-based degreasers on polymerized cooking oil deposits on ceramic tile surfaces. The alkaline treatment achieved 94% surface removal after a single 10-minute passive contact period. The commercial surfactant spray achieved 61%, and that figure was measured after active scrubbing, not passive contact. Nearly a third of the surface remained bonded after the product that costs $9 a can and requires physical labor on top of it. The free method outperforms the expensive one by a third. The baking soda has been in your pantry the whole time. Now I want to tell you why this knowledge went quiet. Because it did go quiet. My grandmother's generation did not buy cleaning products the way the modern world does. In the countryside, a market came through twice a week, and what you could not grow or make from what you had, you did without. The knowledge of what worked, baking soda, vinegar, the cold application, the correct order, passed from one person to the next through showing. Grandmother showed mother, mother showed daughter. The showing was the storage. When the younger generation moved to the cities and the convenience shops opened on every corner, the showing stopped. Not because the knowledge failed, because there was no one left in the kitchen to receive it. The old women who carried it grew old without anyone watching. And into that space came the spray can. Think about the arithmetic of it plainly. If you know the $2 method, you buy baking soda twice a year. You spend nothing on degreasers. There is no margin in that for anyone. No repeat purchase, no subscription, no brand. But if you believe grease is a surface problem, if no one has ever explained polymerization to you, then you buy the foam every 2 to 3 weeks on a working kitchen. $9 a can, 5 or 6 cans a year. $50, sometimes more, for a product that achieves 61% of what a passive alkaline paste achieves at no cost. The foam is not made to explain saponification. It is made to smell like it is working. The citrus scent, the hiss, the way it clings to the vertical surface. These are sensory signals designed to feel like efficacy. The feeling is not the chemistry. No one sat in a room and decided to suppress baking soda. They simply had no reason to advertise it. The free thing does not buy airtime. The $9 thing does. And without the grandmother in the kitchen to show you, you had only the advertisement to learn from. Let me be straight with you now, because I will not oversell this. The baking soda paste method works on polymerized grease, the old, bonded, yellowed layer that the spray cannot touch. For fresh oil spilled on the stove tonight, dish soap and warm water will clean it faster with less effort. Use dish soap for fresh oil. Use the paste for what dish soap stopped reaching 2 years ago. The method also requires contact time. 8 to 15 minutes of the paste sitting undisturbed. If you need a kitchen clean in 60 seconds, this will not serve you. The chemistry does not hurry. Give it the time it asks for, and it works completely. Rush it, and you are back to scrubbing something that will not move. Here's the full method, short enough to carry in your head. Scrape the heavy deposits dry before anything else. Make the paste cold. 2 parts baking soda, 1 part white vinegar, mixed until the foam settles. Press it into the surface cold and leave it alone for 8 to 15 minutes. Wipe with a warm, damp cloth. Rinse and repeat until the cloth comes away clean. For the hood grate, a 20-minute warm soak with dissolved baking soda. No scrubbing. Hot water always last, never first. Repeat the treatment every 6 weeks. And the polymer layer never has time to rebuild. That is 11 years of clean tiles. $2 of materials. The knowledge was in your pantry the whole time. Here is the larger truth I want to leave you with. The knowledge that costs nothing to own is always the first knowledge the market finds a reason to replace. Understand the mechanism, and you cannot be sold the shortcut. Next time, I am going to show you what my grandmother did with a cast iron pan that had been seized and blackened for 20 years. How she returned it to a surface better than new, using nothing from a store, nothing from a can, and nothing that cost more than an afternoon of time. It is the same principle working in a different corner of the same kitchen. Until then, find the baking soda. It has been patient long enough.